Hello everyone, my name is Kay and I'm Kitschy Pfeiffer here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Very warm welcome to you if you are viewing my channel for the first time. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming and spending some more time with me today. It's been a wee while since I've recorded a video. Let's just say that for the month of August my mental health took a pummeling and I'm still not quite ready to do an update video where I face you. I'm playing around with a couple of setups to see if I can do it sort of like tabletop, over the tabletop, and let you do it that way, and until I feel confident enough myself that I can face you all again. I wouldn't say there was really one particular sort of thing. It was just an amalgam of different things that were happening, and something had to give, and unfortunately it was my update videos for the month of August. Doesn't mean that I've not been stitching, because I have been, and I'm trying to think how many stitches I did in August. Let's see if I can get, bearing in mind I've not actually updated this and put the last day's stitching in. I've got it in my stitch pile but not on here. Let's see, how many did I do? Pardon me. Where's the month one? Come on. Alright, maybe it's up the way, hold on. Right, August. I did 19,563, but I've still got 2 days worth of stitching tied in, so I've got about another 1,000 stitches to go in. So on average about 20,000 stitches, which is a bit my average for the month, for month to month. Had 2 new starts this month on the 1st of September, so this is one of them. This is 2 wolves, and this, if I can get this up to see, to let you see, is what it's going to look like. Well, obviously not the circle, but this is the needle minder I got to go with it. This is artwork. It's Nadia Strelkina artwork, charting by Paine Free Crafts. I'm kind of copying Nicola's way of working her one. I think she's got, is it Daughter of the Deep, or Nadia Strelkina as well. And I noticed that she works, at least I think this is one that she works across. So I'm kind of copying that, but I'm going block by block, and I'm harking in the block underneath. So when I finished with a colour up here, if it's in the block below, it gets parked there. If it's not in that block, but it's in there, I'll get parked in there. If it's in neither of these blocks, but it's parked in that one or that one, it'll get parked in there, unless there's one already parked in there for it. Then otherwise I end my thread. So that's one of my new starts. My other one is this one. This is Gloria's Sunflowers, which is an Artecy chart. It's a freebie in their Facebook group, and there is something in the region of 7 or 8,000 996, which is this colour here. And I think what I'm doing is I'm just, same thing, I'm working in a block across, parking in the block below. But I'm doing this one, I'm stitching this one in hand. Primarily because it's that Aida that I'm not, it's that crispy, crunchy Aida that I'm not 100, I don't really like. But it's 18 count Aida, it's white, and I got it from someone on Etsy, and to be honest. It's okay for doing like black work on, but for cross stitch, unless you're stitching it in hand, I wouldn't bother with it. That's me. I've got another couple of bits of that, so I'm just going to either do my projects in hand, or I'm going to do black work on them. But today's stitch with me, yes, I am filming a stitch with me, is this one on 2 wheels. I'm going to just zoom you in so you can see where I'm working. I'm just working in this block here. I'm going to try and do 1, maybe 2 blocks in this stitch with me, because I'm coming into a bit more, it's less confetti coming along into the next block. So I'm going to try and do at least finish this block off and maybe start the next. Roughly about an hour, maybe an hour and a half worth of stitching. So grab your drink, grab your stitching, get yourself comfy, and join me as I stitch. I was going to do just a straight stitch with me ASMR style, but I've been getting a couple of comments on my Facebook querying how I work, so I've done it already with one of my stitch with me's last month. I sort of talked you through it, but I thought I would do that again to let you see how my thinking is. I mean, this is just the way I do it. It's not necessarily the right way or a wrong way. As Karen Neilberg keeps saying, there is no cross stitch police. As long as you do it consistent. You know, if you make a rule and just stick to it consistently. Like my rules for my cross stitch when it comes to it, as I do the bottom leg, left, right, lower right to top right, lower left to top right, and my top leg goes lower right to top left. And as long as I'm consistent in that, you know, it won't cause any issues. Same with my parking. I park in the bottom left square, bottom left hole, because that is the one that my needle comes up through to start my stitch. And as long as I mark my threads on, you know, as long as I'm consistent with that, and I mark my threads, my brain's about a million miles ahead of my mouth at the moment. Excuse me, I'll just take a quick drink. Right, see, is that better? A wee bit. Right. As I was saying, as long as I park in the same space every time, I won't go, you know, and I mark my threads as part. I shouldn't. I won't say I won't go wrong, because I do go wrong sometimes, but I shouldn't go wrong. What you're seeing there is I've done those 4 stitches on there. Instead, I would have just normally, you know, some people go row by row and park underneath and what have you. But what I do is, if the stitch above is completed, I complete the stitch instead of just parking it. So that's what I've done there with those ones. But this one here, the stitch above is empty. So it's got a part thread in it. It's not got a stitch in it, so I park underneath there. And when it comes to starting threads, let's just get a new thread. Come on. Oh. Come on, stop. There we go. I start my threads, I go down the top left, up in the top right, peel that so it's a tiny wee tail, go back down, top right if I can, and then up bottom left, through the loop, and back down top right, and pull the loop back through to the back, and then I just bottom right, top left to complete the stitch. One there. Stitch above's completed. The next one for this is that space there, but there's nothing above it, so I just park the thread. And obviously, whoops. Come on. Oh, what's going on here with this thread? It's being silly. Right. Sometimes when I get knots, I try and undo them, but sometimes I just can't be bothered, so I just trim it. Right, so this next one, excuse me, complete that stitch there, there. That stitch there. These two underneath here. Stitch there. Now next one is there, but there's nothing above, so I'll park it. I've already done 110 stitches today, so I would have filmed this earlier, but I had a slight cat malfunction, and in other words, Charlie was lying on my lap underneath the frame, and when he gets up, he knocks the whole thing. So I knew it wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been able to film without at some point having a major camera quake. I think I've used near enough every shade of blue, pardon me, so far on this. Or at least proper, what I call true blues. There's actually some greens and browns in there at the start of the row. You wouldn't have for a design that's primarily blues, you wouldn't have expected browns and greens, but there's greys and right. So again, down, top right, top left rather, up top right, pull that to make that smaller tail as possible, back down, top right to make the loop, form the loop, come up the bottom left, go through the loop, back up top right to take that loop to the back, and complete the stitch. Now this is getting parked down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's another reason that I do my first stitch in here is, and on the gridded, is I know that's without even counting, that shows 10 and 9 and 10, and so I just have to count however many along. It's actually quite interesting. I've been stitching on a project for a while. I'm getting quite good at if there's a stitch, if the next stitch is like 5 along, I'm getting quite good at bringing my needle up from the back in that, on the correct hole without counting, if that makes sense. It seems, you know, even when I'm doing it on ungridded, I'm finding that occasionally I'm getting it good without counting. If it's any more than 10 stitches away on ungridded, I'm kind of lost. But this is kind of why I started doing it this way as well. Going across the 10 by 10 blocks and parking below, because I've got some ungridded fabric and I'm wanting to use it, but I'm not necessarily, I don't necessarily have a lot of non-full coverage patterns that I can use on it. So, you know, and also, if I do get second-hand fabric, the chances are it's not going to be gridded anyway. And I just don't, I can't be bothered with the faffing about of gridding it myself. I got fabric gel pens, heat erasable gel pens, but they don't work very well on the fabric. They bleed into the fabric too much, so I probably got the wrong thing, but they looked like the right thing when I ordered them. So I don't think I'll be using them. Oh no, I forgot to do a stitch. I mean, the way I work suits me. I don't do cross country. I have tried it, and I have tried colour completion. Tried it on my HAED cell to finish up the second instalment, and by the time I got to the last of the colours, I was like, nah, don't like this. It looked too messy, and it was really hard for me to figure out where I was stitching. So I went back to, you know, on the next instalment, back onto my diagonals, and I'm enjoying that again. 800. I've got that. That's another place. To go there, right? What I've done is I've got all my master set. I've got an active skein of each colour on these. There's 25, I need 25 of them. I work with CXC and Rose to Me. Rose to Me is colours 01 to 35. And CXC starts at 150. And I just prefer them to DMC. I find DMC tangles, knots, frays. I mean, don't get me wrong, CXC does that as well, but not to the same extent. And it does take a little bit more abuse than DMC because it's got the polyester in it. It is a polycotton blend. It's not pure 100% cotton like DMC, but I just prefer it. I like the way it feels when I'm stitching in it. It doesn't seem to snag on the fabric or, you know, things like that. So it is, it is Tuesday the 2nd of September. I forgot to say that when I started my video. And it's 20 past 1 in the afternoon here in the UK, at least in my little part of it in Fife in Scotland, or should I say my little part of Fife in Scotland. Things are taking a distinct autumnal slant as the leaves are turning. We've had a wee bit of wind and rain, and leaves are starting to fall from the trees. This is my favourite time of year. This and when it first snowfall. I don't like the heat. I don't like it when it gets too hot, and I don't like spring. Well, I do like spring, but I don't like spring, if you know what I mean. I like it because obviously it's new growth, plenty of little flowers, you know, the baby animals and what have you. But I suffer from hay fever. I'm on antihistamines almost constantly from the beginning of spring, about mid-March, beginning of April, till about next month, maybe middle of next month, no, beginning of November. Otherwise, my eyes get itchy and start crass. I'm constantly wiping my eyes, blowing my nose, sneezing. And yeah, so it kind of puts a dampener on spring and summer for me being like that. If my hay fever hits me really bad, I get hives as well. So yeah, I don't tend to go outside very much in the, you know, in the good weather. I don't tend to go outside at all, really. And here's Charlie coming to annoy me. Hello. What? You wondering who I'm talking to? I'm talking to all the people in Facebook land. Not Facebook land, YouTube land. Yes. You just miffed because I'm not talking to you. Are you? You're going to be a good boy and try not to get on my knee. Eh? Or not try to get on my knee, I should say. Eh? For those of you that do follow me on Facebook, you may have seen a picture that I posted. I think it was on Instagram as well. And it was my stitching frame and Charlie on my lap. Now you can see what coming out from underneath the frame is his back end. At the moment, he's lying on my arm, trying to get between, the lamp and my frame. Look, I'll see if I can. Look. Oh, oh, I can't do it. I can't move it. Oh, Charlie, what will we do with you? Eh? What's wrong with you? Why are you being so porky? No, don't eat my threads. You can be a good boy and let me do this. Well, if you let me do this, so I'll be done quicker. If you don't lie on my arm, I'll be done quicker. And then you'll get your dreamies sooner. What are you watching out the window? You watching the birds? Can I please get my arm back? No. You're not gonna let me do it. You're not gonna let me stitch, no. Why can't you be like Oscar? He's lying quiet. Come on, move now. Come on. Is it nice? Good boy. Right. Sorry about that interruption from Charlie. He's away in the huff now. Oh no, he's coming. Here he comes. Here he comes. Oh, we're under the... Oh, goodness, we're under the... Oh, goodness gracious. What are you doing? Oh, seriously, Charlie. And I've lost track of what I'm doing. Hold on. See, now you've got me confused. Right, that part there. That's there. Right. I'm just waiting on the paw coming onto the work, you know, under the camera, just to try and catch my needle, because he's done that before. Are you going to leave me alone for a bit another hour, so I can actually get on with this? And you're just going to sit and stare at my hand. There we go. Careful, because you're knocking everything. Charlotte, you're knocking everything. Stop it. Right. Will you please stop? Charlie, you've moved my lamp. You've moved my magnifier. I can't see now. Oh. You've kind of got yourself stuck, haven't you? Because you can't go forward because of my magnifier. You can't go back because of the phone clamp. You're kind of stuck there, aren't you? You didn't think that through. Oh dear. You just didn't think that through. You're not very bright, are you? And every time I make a stitch, I pop you in the nose. You might be able to get through that gap. No, you've knocked the lamp again. Stop it. do your stitch budgies get in the way like this? At least you're not lying on it. Yeah, you're stuck, aren't you? Oh dear. Right, so back working on this row here. I'm just that one there. Right, oh good, you managed to get down without knocking anything over. Clever boy. Yeah, as I said, I'm trying to get a space where I can sort of use my table. I mean, I can clamp the foam clamp onto the table and work from above like that on the table, but the table is full of stuff at the moment. I'm trying to get through that and put stuff away and what have you. So I'm going to try and get that done this week so that I can hopefully do an update, if not this weekend, by the middle of next week. But we'll see. I might feel that I'm ready, you know, I might feel that I'm comfortable enough again that I can do one of my regular, you know, in front of cameras. Updates. I've been wanting to do it. It's not that I haven't wanted to do the updates. It's just I haven't felt comfortable enough because I have been, my anxiety, my depression has been sort of, I would say, had a bit of an upper hand this month. It's not been, I can't say there's been anything that no, I can't say there's one thing that was a big part of it, but normally I would have pushed past it, but there's been a lot of other little things happening that's just built up, and it got to the point where I just couldn't do it. And I mean, for those of you that know me on Facebook as well, you know that I'm a big part of Nicola's group as well. I enjoy being part of that and commenting on our lives and things like that. And I didn't, take part in our live streams and, things like that. I just didn't. For about 2 weeks, I just didn't even do that. And it was just, I just wanted to sit and stitch. I didn't want to interact with anyone for about 2 weeks solid, which, when my mental health does take a knock-in, that's what happens. I tend to shut myself off from people, isolate myself. It's like, you know, pull up the ramparts in this castle, pull up the, you know, pull up the gates, you know, drop the portcullis, pull up the drawbridge, and, you know, hide from the world and my little, you know, my safe space, which even my safe space didn't feel very safe at one point, because I had someone try and get in my house. Well, I was in that, you know, standing there telling me that he lived here, and I'm like, no, you don't live here. You know, I don't have a man in this house. I've not, you know, there's never been a man in this house as long as I've lived in it. You know, but he was adamant that he lived in my house, and then so that kind of shook me a wee bit and knocked my confidence a wee bit. So there was that, and then there was other stuff happening, family stuff happening, and it just kind of knocked me a wee bit, and I don't want to go into it too much, but I just say I had a bit of an upset, and it kind of knocked me sideways a wee bit. But I'm coming out the other side of it. I'm remembering that I can't control what other people do. I can only control how I react to it. So, you know, why worry about the stuff I can't control when I should be concentrating on the stuff that I can? So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm kind of getting myself back on track. So, might not be this week, like I said, it might not be this week, but hopefully by next week I will have an update video for you, even if it's been filmed sort of, you know, from above, looking down on the projects. I mean, I stitched on, out of the 19 projects, a UFO'd one last month. And you remember a UFO'd autumn waltz? I'm going to restart that. A different fabric, and I'm going to then get the other three of the seasonal waltzes from Carolyn Manning. I'm also going to get a couple of other charts of hers. Sorry about this. So yeah, I've been looking at a couple of other charts of hers, but at the moment, because although I'm in Europe, not part of EU, but the way our website is set up at the moment, we can't purchase anything unless we make an appointment to do that. So I'm either going to have to get a paper chart and then play around trying to get it into Pattern Keeper, or wait until this whole thing with tariffs and everything is sorted, which whenever that will be, by which time chances are the charts I'm wanting to do are actually will be, you know, she'll have withdrawn them. So I think I might just be getting the paper charts from one of the, you know, from one of the online shops. This is a shame really, because I was enjoying browsing through, and I had quite a few charts that I had sort of earmarked that I was wanting. So unfortunately she's not going to be getting the business from me that she should be getting from me, because of this whole thing. I don't know if it's because of the tariffs or whatever, but it's, no, that's wrong. Wait a minute, that goes with, wait a minute. Ah, down there, right. I knew there was another one. 2, 3, 2, 3. See, I was about to start stitching with the wrong colour there because I changed the colour on pattern keeper. I changed the symbol, but I still had it on the previous one on my thread on my needle. Right. For those of you that follow Gemma Stitches that's doing Marvellous Garden, don't know if you've seen the latest update that she'd put up for, our starting point for September. She's on the second, I think second last pass. It's looking beautiful. And it's been done on 14, I think 14 count. It's absolutely massive, but it's beautiful. I'm doing, the same artist, I'm doing 2 Dancing Peacocks, which should have been what I was working on. Like, yesterday and today. But, new start, new month, new start. Or should I say, 2 new starts. The Boreas Sunflowers one started for the September Sunflowers event on Nicola's group. And that's got 60,000 stitches in it. Which is the same amount of stitches. It's the same size as the Flying Scotsman that I'm doing for my dad. I think I'm about 40-something% on that. Oh, right, okay. Oh no, I've done it again. Didn't want to come through that hole. I wanted to come up there. Don't normally just stitch over, but I am not faffing about today. I'm not in the mood for it, so. Right, those ones. Right, that one. There is under completed stitch. So the stitch is done and under. So that's that there, right. I'm actually doing that, getting through this quite quickly. Quite surprised. Right. Charlie, can you leave that bit of paper alone, please? Charlie, behave, please. Yes, because I told you to. Good boy. That's a good boy. I might just do the next block as well, because I've actually got through this quite quickly. Wait a minute, maybe I haven't, it just seems to be quicker because I'm filming. Can't remember who I was watching. I was watching a stitch with me. I think it was Sleepy Stitcher. And they said about when they're filming a stitch with me, it seems to go quicker, so yeah. Maybe that's what I need to do when I get to bits that are boring and not a lot of colour changes. Or bits that I've got a lot of colour changes. I think she's right actually. I think it does go by a little bit quicker. It's maybe because we're not just concentrating on the stitching, we're thinking about what we're saying, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, right down to there, down 1, right down Yeah, so it's that one. That's 1, 2, 3, 5. Right. Yeah, I wasn't very happy the first couple of blocks because I didn't think my stitches looked neat. But the further across I'm getting, you know, the more I'm getting into this, because I've been stitching on 18 count a lot last week. Because I was working on, what did I do last week? Let me think. Let me think, what was I stitching on last week? What did I stitch on? Oh, I did my cottage garden one. That was my monogamous May piece. I stitched on that. That's on 18 count. Stop that. Can't remember what else I stitched on. Please don't, Charlie. No. Seriously? Come on. Thanks, just because I've stopped stitching, it's time for cuddles. So I stitched on that. Stitched on that quite a lot last week, actually. I stitched on, was that the week before I did? I did Look at the Sky, but I think that was the week before. I did a little bit more on the Kitschy kitchen shelf, the supersized matte colour one I'm doing, the Aimee Stewart one from HAED. I think. Oh, Dogwood Cottage, yes, I did that as well. I did my 1,000 stitches, or just short of my 1,000 stitches rotation. I've been having a little think about, we're getting into plans now, so I had a little think about my rotation, and what I'm doing is, because I've been finding that I've been, the 2 days isn't scratching the itch on a lot of projects, some of my projects I'm wanting to do, stitch a bit more on them. So what I'm decided to do, I'm going to try it between now and Christmas. And basically what I'm doing is Abby's challenges, crossing crafts, stitching series, or series of stitches or whatever, I can't remember the exact name of it. I joined the group, and what I've done is I've said, right, each chapter I will work on whichever project is in the rotation. So this one will get the first chapter of Philosopher's Stone. I think it's 4,000 and something stitches. Which I'm not that fussed about, because quite often before I started filming my floss tube, I would stick on a new project for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, because I was enjoying the project, because it was new, and I would stitch on it basically until I got bored of it, and I would switch on to something else. And then once I started filming the floss tubes, I started getting more projects. I have started this year, let's see, I think it's 12 projects. I've actually started 17 projects this year. Yeah. Which is I've worked on 24, no, 21, 23 including the 2 new ones. I finished one, because I finished that in January, a UFO'd one, so I've got 21 projects. That's not right. 19, 20, yeah, 21. Yeah, projects at the moment, including my HAED cell. And I have got another 3, maybe 4 planned. I'm thinking starting for October, starting my Gunnagles library. For November, I'm thinking of not doing one on the 1st of November because I'm starting Celtic Unicorn on the 30th of November, just St Andrew's Day. And then I'm thinking on maybe starting Donna Gelsinger's Teddy Bear Tree. I've got the supersized max colour version of that. I'm thinking about starting that in December for Christmas. And then next year what I'm thinking is, instead of doing a new start every month, I'm thinking of just doing it every other month. That way, if someone's wanting to slot in for a stitch along, you know, or someone asks me if if I'd like to start a project with them, you know, if we've both got the same chart and want to start, you know, I can do that. I am, however, maintaining June as my birthday month, so there will definitely be a new start on the 1st of June and on my birthday. The one I'm thinking about starting on the 1st of June at the moment, this might change. Oh, I forgot, I've also got a Hogmanay new start as well. I'm going to be starting Monarch of the Glen. It's a super-sized max colour version, I think, on that. I got enabled to do it for that. I'd actually, well, I'll say enabled. It wasn't really because it was on my wish list. It had been on my wish list and it had been taken off, and it went back on again. It come off, and then I saw someone was stitching it, and I was like, yeah, I like that. I really like that. So I decided to get it, but I didn't buy it. Someone bought it for me as a random act of kindness last month, after I'd spoken about it. It was sitting on my wishing list, waiting on me going in to get it when I got paid. And lovely lady who knows who she is, bought it for me. So that is going to be my Hogmanay new start. On the 31st of December, I'll be starting at 12 noon, stitching on it for 12 hours to the bells. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that one didn't have another one starting down, another stitch down here, but the next stitch was over here, so that goes over there. That's why I parked there. So yeah, so it's, I think that's why I'm saying I think I might be starting the Teddy Bear Tree by Donna Gelsinger, but I don't know if I'm going to be starting that in December or start that in November. And then the one that I would start, you know, the Celtic Unicorn, if I start that on St Andrew's Day, that would be, you know, it's basically the day before the 1st of December. So that would be my December new start, and then my Hogmanay new start would be my January new start, unless I join in the HAED Sal next year again. I'm not planning on it, but if there is a chart that if amongst the charts that they offer, there is one that I want to stitch, then I will join. But I'm not going to go out my way to join in next year. As I say, unless there is a specific chart that I want. Even if it's within, if they do the participation charts again next year. If they do that, then, and there's one in there that I want, and providing it's not one that's available on the website, then I would do it for that. But it would need to be a chart that I would that I would have bought anyway, if it was available, as because I would have, if my Van Gogh Roses had been available as a chart, I would have bought it, because it's one of my favourite pieces of artwork. I've always liked that one. So yeah. Charlie's now lying on the other arm of the sofa. Pardon me. I'm sitting on the left hand side of the sofa. Lowry comes over the left arm, and Charlie's lying on the right hand arm of the sofa like butter wouldn't melt. Hey, butter wouldn't melt because you're so innocent. I think he's actually sleeping, which is brilliant. It amazes me how cats can go from 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye, and can go the opposite way as well. Right. 519. I think we'll do this block and then I'll call it quits for today for filming. I've had 2 random acts of kindness this year with charts. 2 Dancing Peacocks was also an RAK on the HAED Facebook group. So, yeah, we're extremely lucky this year when it comes to charts. Pink Lily's having has got a birthday bundle. On Artecy, quite a few of her charts I've got my eye. Unfortunately, there's not enough of them in the birthday bundle for me to buy the bundle. I know there would be 2 or 3 charts in the bundle that I would buy. I would have bought standalone charts, and I don't think, I don't do cartoony type. I like realistic looking animals and people. I don't do cartoons. I won't do a Hannah Lynn, for example, because I don't like that artwork. That's not my style. They're beautiful charts, don't get me wrong, they are beautiful, it's just not my taste. Like Randall Spangler, I love his artwork, but it's not my aesthetic. I wouldn't hang it in my room, in my house. So I wouldn't, because it's the cartoony type dragons, I don't, you know, I wouldn't, just too cartoony for me. They're beautiful. Again, don't get me wrong, don't shout at me, you know. Don't dislike, you know, don't unsubscribe just because I don't like certain artwork. I mean, we're all entitled to our own tastes, and you know, if that's what floats your boat, then get on, you know, on yourself. I went and bought from Celtic Crafts. I've had a limited edition Lord of the Rings charts, and I went and bought Bilbo meeting Gandalf when he's sitting outside his hobbit hole, which is the start of the Hobbit. Because I've been reading, because you know, I like reading. Unfortunately, every time I've tried to read Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, I have gotten halfway through the first book and it's like, whoa, and lost interest, or something's happened in my life and I've had to come away from reading or whatever. I've got my Spotify set up now, and The Hobbit is on Spotify as an audiobook, so I can put that on and just, you know, if I'm wanting to stitch but I'm not wanting to watch FlossTube, because I tend to watch FlossTube while I'm stitching, you know, if I'm not wanting to watch that, I will either listen to an audiobook. I've got Game of Thrones there as well, the audiobook for that on Spotify, and my, you know, as I say, The Hobbit, or listen to a podcast. I quite like that. Who Did What Now? It's a history podcast. I quite like that. Which I got into through Facebook. I saw a couple of our reels on Facebook, and it mentioned, you know, that she's on YouTube, that she does podcasts and stuff. So I went on my podcast on Spotify and found her, and I've gradually worked my way through from the beginning. I'm about episode 35 or something, episode 40, sort of that area, sort of level. So I'm still a fair wee bit back, but I'm quite enjoying it. She's got one of those voices that you can just, I think also because she's got a similar accent to myself, it's like, you know, it's like my best pal down the street is talking to me. You know what I mean? I think she lives in Ireland, but she is a Scot. I think her family moved to Ireland. But she's definitely a Scot. Sounds like a bit of a Fife accent, maybe central, maybe sort of Stirlingshire sort of. She's not got the posh Stirlingshire accent. She's got definitely a Scottish accent, Lowland Scot accent, I would say. Definitely not a Glaswegian twang. At least I don't hear it. But it's like, she reminds me, and the way that she speaks, she reminds me so much of two of my lecturers when I was at college, who, you know, just the way she speaks, it just reminds me of them. She's like an amalgam of the two of them. It's like, so yeah, so I quite enjoy that. What else have I been listening to? I've been watching Wire in the Blood on Amazon Prime as well. I did away with my Netflix, wee twat. I did away with my Netflix subscription because I wasn't using it, and it was costing me, I think it was 15 or 16 quid a month. And I thought, you know what, for that money, I could actually pay my Spotify and come off free Spotify and go into, you know, premium, and still have a wee bit of change. So I did that. So I'm on that's why I'm sort of binging on Spotify at the moment. I just have to get my Alexa to train to actually put on my podcasts, because at the moment when I'm putting it on, I'm speaking quietly so it doesn't pick up, and try and put something on through my Echo Dot that, you know. Now I've got to shout at her. we don't like shouting at her. So I'm speaking very quietly at the moment. Well, not very quietly, but a little bit quietly. Just to just to prevent that. I was speaking on the phone to my friend the other day, and something I had said, I can't remember what I had said, but I had said something, and she came on and she was like, playing such and such from you. I'm like, no, I don't want my music on. Where would we be without AI, yeah? Pardon me. Right. Get a bit of green in here now. Okay. A bit pale green. That's what I'm saying. For a design that's all blues, the little bits of colour just... Come on. That's it. Yeah, that's that one. Nope, wrong spot. Starting there. Yeah, this is sort of a minty green. It's nice. I like this colour actually. I'm a big fan of minty green sort of colours and turquoises, and I would never have picked that being in there. I might not 3811 getting picked because that is really bright turquoise. Down one, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Right. 598. I think I might have to get up and get a delivery shortly. That looks like the delivery man coming for me. So I think I might just call it quits here, guys. And I shall speak to you all again sometime. Remember to hit the like, subscribe button and the notification bell. And I'll see you next time. Bye.